get my 6 on this gloriously beautiful autumn afternoon, fall, autumn, whatever you want to call it. As of this recording right now, the very last day of September 2020. I am so excited. Tomorrow is my favorite month of the year, October, because it's got Halloween in it. It's fall, the peak of fall. So we're going to walk and talk, and we're going to sneak up here and see if we may or may not be able to see or hear something that may or may not exist, and which, if it does, potentially lives in the forest behind my home. You know what we're talking about. Potentially Bigfoot Sasquatch. I'm going to show you around. Oh, it's so beautiful. You know, in my opinion, there's no such thing as a weed. Oh, wow. Here we go already. Someone or something just threw something at me. You probably heard it drop. But look at this. Some people call these weeds. I call it beautiful, whatever it is. It's like 9 feet tall in here in our nursery where we're growing all kinds of weeping willow trees. Sell them on Craigslist for $10 each. It's 100% profit because we've got root stock. We just root them, shove about 100 of them in there every spring, sell them the next year, make a little bit of extra money. Look at this beautiful flower. That's a morning glory. It's wild. We didn't plant it. All right, come on now. The title says something about you've deciphered more of their broken language. What does it mean? You supposedly figured out the code. All right, listen. Let me preface this with a couple of preferences. Number one, I can only control what I say. I cannot control how you take what I say. I speak in very simple English because I'm simple-minded, okay? I'll admit it. I don't care. But I've got to keep things simple or I get confused. And when I get around people that don't keep things simple, they confuse me. And that's part of the story here. Gosh, this is beautiful, isn't it? I'm just giving you a view. We're going up there to the woods here in a minute. Okay, number 2. Hate has no place anywhere. Not in America, not in Europe, not in Asia, not in Africa, not in Australia, not in Antarctica. Is that all the continents? South America, North America? I know America's not a continent. I told you I was simple-minded. Okay, so I was out here splitting wood. Take a look at this. Doing it my way because this is how I enjoy doing it. I did that. Spent about half an hour before lunch, kind of, killing time while my beautiful bride, Dearly, aka Giggly Girl, was preparing our lunch. I was out here splitting this big stuff up. And after I make and upload this video, I'm going to split for a couple hours more and stack. I eased back into this just starting a couple weeks ago because I've got all this huge wood to split and stack. So I started out 20 minutes because it'd been a while since I've been doing it with my maul, sledgehammer. Then I worked up to 30 minutes. Then I got up to an hour a day. Guys, I can split all day long now. I thought it was going to take till Halloween to get back into wood splitting shape to do it, but I can do it all day now, and I'm going to do it all day today because look at this. It's probably 70 degrees. There's a light breeze. I love to hear that autumn breeze. By the way, that's an excellent song by one of my favorite bands, the Goo Goo Dolls. We got to see them sing that live last year in Richmond at a concert. It's just before COVID came out. So if you've never heard that song, go listen to it after this video. I think you'll like it. It's kind of melancholy, but it's a beautiful song. They're kind of a melancholy group. Oh man, the thistle. Look at this. Thistle. It's getting ready to go to seed. And I love it when it does. In mid-October, all these beautiful little purple flowers, thistle flowers, will be seed. And we will get flocks of these beautiful, bright yellow American goldfinches that just eat the thistle in the meadows up here, going back and forth like this. And it's just glorious to watch. All right, now, language. Language means something, okay? And I've lived in multiple foreign countries. I've learned and spoken multiple foreign languages throughout my time. You know the hardest language in the world to learn as a foreign language, if it's not your primary language, is English. You know the hardest language to learn to write correctly and speak correctly, even when it is your primary language? English. That's a true story. I'm a writer, I know. And I write correctly when necessary, and I intentionally write incorrectly when I'm using the voice of characters because not everybody speaks it correctly. I don't myself. Here's an example. If someone asks me how I'm doing, they say, "Hey, how you doing?" I say, "I'm good. How are you doing?" And then, most of them, well, there's this group of people out there, and they fall into this group, and this is why I preface this about how I don't hate anybody. When I make these videos that are along the theme that this video is going to be themed as, people think I hate yuppies. I don't hate yuppies. I just don't understand their language. They've got their own language. I call it yuppie-ish, kind of like gibberish. I call it yuppie-ish. Oh, man. There's some of those white blossoms. I don't think you'll be able to see it from here, but a big wind gust came through, and those white seeded things on the top of those weeds just blew off. Is beautiful. So, listen, I don't hate anybody because of skin color. I don't hate anybody because of sexual preference, sexual identity, gender identity, nationality, religion. That is so superficial, and I don't understand how anybody can hate anyone based upon those things. I don't hate people because their political party they associate with, or if their views are different than mine. I just don't have hate in my heart. Now, I used to, but I learned it takes as much energy to hate someone as it does to love someone. And why would I give somebody that maybe I dislike or don't care for the same amount of energy that I give my wife and my son in loving them? So I don't use that energy to hate. I double up on the energy I use to love, okay? So I don't hate yuppies. That's my point. People are like, are you making fun of them? I'm not even making fun of them. I'm just trying to figure out what they mean when they speak. And I think I've deciphered more of their language. I think. So there are a lot of yuppies in my area because, we live outside of Charlottesville, Virginia. It's a college town. And yuppies come in all shapes and sizes. There's fat yuppies. There's skinny yuppies. There's tall yuppies. There's short yuppies. There are white yuppies. There are black yuppies. Male yuppies. Female yuppies. Gay yuppies. Straight yuppies. Yuppies, it's like young, urban, professional people is what it actually stands for. They're typically well-educated. They're typically professional. It's in the definition. Many of them are very likable. Just like all groups, and I don't even like to group people together, but, in any Wow. I'm hearing, like, loud tree knocks as soon as we get to the edge of the forest. So let's go in the forest. Like, man, you are crazy. If I had that stuff going around on my property, I'd move. I'd run. You hear what may or may not be a Bigfoot Sasquatch in your woods, and you go in the woods? Are you crazy? Yeah. That's why they call me Crazy Lake. All right. So, I'll use the word demographics because really it's a socio-economic demographic is what yuppieism is. And they congregate in college towns. And so I didn't grow up really around yuppies because I'm from Appalachia. So I came here not really knowing how to kind of communicate effectively because I don't mince my words. What is that? I come from a simple place where people say what they mean and they mean what they say. But the rest of the world's not like that. But I learned to actually simplify my English even more when I lived in Asia because even though many people in the Philippines speak English, it's not their primary language. It's usually their tertiary language. They usually speak Tagalog, their local dialect, which where I was Visayan, and then they speak English as a third language. Well, when speaking with someone to whom English is not their primary language, you got to be careful. You've got to speak very literally, not figuratively. Here's an example. Like if you go into a room and you say, wow, it's toasty in here, or wow, it's roasting in here. They might not know what that means. Now, most of us know that means it's hot, it's warm. But if you're in the Philippines and you walk into a room and you say, wow, it's toasty in here, they'd be like, many of them. Now, there's a lot of them have homes in America, go back and forth, and they would get that figurative speech. But if you say, wow, it's really roasting in here, And I'm not trying to be smart aleck here, but they might look around for like a pig or a chicken, because roasting is a way, you roast meat. It's a way to cook meat. So you learn that if you want to communicate effectively with the people around you, you speak literally, not figuratively. So you walk into that room and you say, wow, it's warm in here. It's hot. Can we turn on the air conditioning? So, and again, and I started out by saying, people ask me how I feel. I say, I'm good. How are you? A response from a yuppie type might be something like, I'm well. And then they do that. And part of that message, I think, as I'm understanding it, is they're letting you know that they're good. That's what it means in Appalachistanian. But they're also correcting your improper grammar. They're making sure that there's particular members of this group who are really into guilt shaming, even over simple things. So, I'm well means, they're good in Appalachistanian, but in yuppie-ish it means you just used improper grammar. You know what I do when I run along into those people? They say, how are you? I say, I'm good. How are you? They go, I'm well. I go, well. That's good. And then they're like, because they're not used to people like me. So anyway, I was around some yuppies here just a few days ago. And they're good people, and I like these people. There was a woman yuppie and a man yuppie, a married couple. Wonderful people, accomplished people, highly educated, Ivy League degrees, professionals. They have accumulated quite a bit for themselves in life through their own means. They are hardworking people. They're the type of people that I like being around, because when I get around positive people, and they are positive people, and when I get around people who are accomplished, people who work, people who succeed, I feel that. I mean, I'm an empath. It rubs off on me. It makes me feel like going out there and succeeding more, working more, being positive more, okay? And likewise, if I know people who are negative, pessimistic, always coming up with excuses as to why they're not successful, rather than just putting in the time and the effort and doing what needs to be done to succeed, I avoid those people like the plague. Don't got time for you. I'm not saying you're a bad person. Many of these people are good people, but I don't want that rubbing off on me, so I avoid them. So I'm around these yuppies, a couple of yuppies, positive, good people, okay? There's no hate in my heart with this. I don't have that. Why are you labeling them? It's a demographic, okay? It's I thought I heard footsteps, and there's no one or anything else out here with me right now. We're not alone. Okay, so talking to these yuppies, and the wife yuppie happens to be the alpha of this couple. The male, the husband, he's kind of like the beta. I'm sure she's got his jewels in a jar somewhere. I just don't know if it's, in her purse. Maybe she's hidden them somewhere inside their house in case he ever feels a little bravado and wants to go snooping around in her purse. I don't know, but she's the alpha. But he's a great guy, and he's really nice. He's just, when she says jump, he says how high, and he does, and it's just one of those things, okay? So we're talking about this virtual learning thing that the kids are going through this year with school. And so they're in class like 3 hours a day from home, on the internet. And then there's like an hour or two's worth of extra work. They call it specials, that they have to do. This is for like the arts, the music, PE and stuff. So we're like, so they're talking about, their kids were in the morning sessions or something, and ours is in the afternoon. Like, also, you do your specials in the afternoon, and the female yuppie says, no, we just don't do them. And I was like, why not? She goes, it just doesn't work for us. That just doesn't work for us. So here's the deciphered, here's the message, or the language, that just doesn't work for us, or it just doesn't work for us. So I don't pry, okay? Your business is your business. My business is my business. It's only your business if I decide to make it your business by telling you about it. And I give other people that same respect, okay? There was a very loud tree knock from that direction. I'm going to change my angle. It's another one. Okay, I don't jade. I don't justify, argue, defend, or explain why I do anything to anybody, and I certainly don't expect other people to jade to me. So she just said, well, that just doesn't work for us. And I was like, oh. Still going on. Something's going on back there. Now, here's a key word. I just said, oh. See, I'm friends with yuppies. I don't hate yuppies, and I'm not making fun of them. I just don't understand their communication, okay? So I had this one friend who was a yuppie years ago. He was like 70. He was a retired psychiatrist. He wasn't mine. That was somebody else. But I knew this guy, and he taught me the power of the word oh. He says it's a great way to either get more information out of someone if you want it, or to let them know you don't care without being rude or coming across as rude. I guess there's a lot of passive aggressiveness in their communication, which isn't my style. But he taught me how to kind of use the word oh in a passive aggressive way. Like if somebody says, that just doesn't work for us, and you want more information, but you don't want to pry, you go, oh, like that. It's the inflection on the word, oh. See, I'm learning this language. I am learning to communicate with these folks. Wonderful people. It's a socioeconomic demographic, okay, that I didn't grow up in it, and but now I live around it. I'm trying to figure it out. And sometimes if somebody maybe gives an overshare and they tell you information you really don't care to hear, you might go, oh, okay. So it's the inflection on the word oh. So I remember that. She's like, well, that just doesn't work for us. So I was like, oh? But she didn't elaborate. I'm like, well, I'm not going to pry. So we keep talking. She mentions something else. I can't even remember exactly what it was. But they're doing something differently than the rest of the group, the rest of the herd here. Because I mentioned what we were doing about how we're making what is expected of us fit in with what we're doing with work. We work from home. This has been very easy for us. And she says, yeah, we're not doing that at all either. And I'm like, oh? Trying to inflect it slightly differently, thinking maybe this time if I get the right inflection on it, she'll understand that I want a little bit more information. And again, she just said, well, that just doesn't work for us. I was like, oh. And now with that inflection, that guy, he was a yuppie. And he told me this is supposed to work, but it wasn't working on this girl. I was like, oh. When you inflect it like that, in yuppie-ish, it means I kind of understand, but I really don't. It'd be great if you would expand a little bit more. But again, she's not a jader, and that's one of the things I like about her. And this woman's very successful. She's younger than me, and I hope to achieve as much by the time I'm finished as she already has. I mean, she's a very successful woman, and I like her a lot. I swear I'm not making fun of her. I just don't understand the language, is yuppie. And she said, yeah, well, that just doesn't work for us. That just doesn't work for us. And I could go on and make, I have this way of turning 2-minute stories into 20-minute long videos. I could turn this 20-minute video into an hour-long video, but I'm not. 5 or 6 more times that happened, but she never expanded on it. And so on the way home, I said to my wife, I said, I think I know what that means. I think I know what that just doesn't work for us means. And she said, what? And I said, I think what it means is I'm just not going to do it because I don't want to. And my wife said, yeah, I think so. But I made the mistake of trying to speak yuppie-ish in my life yesterday. My beautiful bride, Dearly, a.k.a. Giggly Girl, went out with a couple of her friends, hung out all day, and she said, I want you to do this while I'm gone. I want you to do that. I have a little bit of grass I need to mow yet because it started raining the other day. I didn't get to quite finish. And then I bought her this piece of furniture for her birthday. I bought it early. She wanted like this accent piece for our dining room. It's a nice piece. And a couple days ago, she was like, I wish I had that for my birthday because we're going to have a few friends over. Keeping it under the numbers, folks. Okay. I I said, well, you know what? Let me buy it for you now. Let me buy it for you early. I'll assemble it, and then that way it's here for your birthday. And she's like, yay. She gets excited. I bought it. It shows up. Well, she wanted me to assemble it yesterday. Long story short, I know what you're saying. Too late. I didn't get the grass mowed. I didn't get the thing assembled. I spent a lot of time reading. Because I do things as a spirit moves me to do them. That's just how I am. That's who I am. So she comes home. She goes, why didn't you start assembling that thing? And I was like, that just didn't work for me. And she's like, did you finish mowing the grass? I said, no. And she said, why? And I said, it just didn't work for me. And she said, so what you're saying is you just didn't want to do it. And I said, I think that's what that means. She goes, okay. We'll do it now. And of course I did. She told me to jump. I asked her how high. Nah, I'm kidding. Actually, I didn't do them. I still need to mow grass, and I still need to put that together. I would have done it by now. But hey, like they say around here, it just didn't work for me. One of these days, I will actually be able to take part in one of these conversations with these folks. Wonderful people. I really like a lot of them, you know. But I think I've deciphered a little bit more of their language they speak, yuppie-ish, one I've never spoken, and I really don't understand. I'm one of those simple-minded folk who just says what I mean and mean what I say. Thanks for being here with me for another episode of the PBS on this beautiful, glorious fall, autumn day here at the Potential Bigfoot Sasquatch Show.